Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am Kelly Jo from H9, and today I will be talking about my 2023 Science Fair project. And today I will also be speaking on behalf of Daniel Han. So, for the table of contents, I will start off with a very short introduction, questions, research, and our hypothesis, materials, procedures, results, and our conclusion and reflection. So, let's quickly start off with our introduction. According to Dong Science, countries in East Asia, including Korea, exceeded the annual rate of yellow dust set by the World Health Organization of 10 cube gram per meter by 89%. Our topic for the 2023 Science Fair is how activated coconut charcoal can purify polluted air. And we basically selected this subject to develop a more practical and affordable approach to lessen air pollution and help the environment. Now moving on to our experimental questions. Our first question was, will a chimney applied with red soil slash activated coconut carbon paste purify polluted air? And our second question was, what ratio of red soil to activated coconut carbon will be the optimal ratio to purify the polluted air? These are the two questions that we had in mind while actually conducting our experiment. And so, moving on to our third topic, our research and hypothesis. So, before moving on with the experiment, I thought that it would be very useful to explain why we actually selected this coconut charcoal for our experiment. And basically, the reason why is because activated coconut charcoal has many macropores, transitional pores, and micropores. Now, this may be very difficult, but this is what you need to know. Macropores absorb macromolecules, and micropores absorb micromolecules. The anion of activated charcoal has a high ability to trap detrimental substances from air. This last sentence is the most prominent and vital sentence for our experiment because it is the main principle of why we conducted it in the first place. And our hypothesis for our experiment was a chimney model containing the red soil slash coconut carbon paste will be able to purify the air. So now I'll be explaining our materials and then following up our procedures. The following materials have been used for the project. First, of course, we use activated coconut charcoal. We used a scale, a beaker, water, an air meter, one glass container, one plastic container, birthday hats, four disposable sauce bottles, a glue gun, and red soil. And next off, let's talk about our procedures. So I want to preface this by saying that for our procedures, we have two separate ones. The first one was making the red soil slash activated coconut charcoal paste, and the second procedure was constructing our chimney model. So let's start off with our red soil slash activated coconut charcoal paste. So basically, we started off by making a mixture of red soil and activated coconut carbon with a ratio of 1 to 1. So basically, we added 150 millimeters of red soil and 150 millimeters of activated coconut carbon into the bowl to make a ratio of 1 to 1. And then we added 150 millimeters of water to the mixture, and we went ahead and mixed that together. Very simple. And that is basically how we made our red soil and activated coconut charcoal paste. Now, I want to talk about how we constructed our chimney model. So I wanted to show you guys this image before going on. And I know it looks very complicated because yes, it was very difficult to construct and it took us, I think it took us a day or two, but we got the hang of it. So basically, the following steps have been used for the project and it looks very complicated. So I wanted to really break this down for you guys and explain. So the first step is to cut the bottom of number 2, which if you look at the diagram, number 2 is the red plastic cup. So basically you cut the bottom of number 2, which is the plastic cup, and you also cut the bottom of number 3, which is the plastic sauce bottle combined attached to the red cup. And then obviously you connect number 2 and number 3, which is the red cup and the sauce bottle. and stick the plastic cup into the glass container, which is number 1, which is on the bottom. Okay, and then you go ahead and cut the bottom of number 4, and this is the sauce bottle, which is connected to the birthday hat. I think the number 4 is very clear, just in case you can't really understand the procedure. And then basically you cut the top of number 5, and then you put those two together with hot glue. Now, before attaching the birthday hat and the plastic container, which is number 6 on top, you basically go ahead and insert the air meter into number 6, which is the plastic container on top. And then we went ahead and create a hole in the lid of number 6 and attach the plastic container to the birthday hat. And that is basically all for the chimney model. And now let's go ahead and introduce the actual experiment. So for the experiment, we had a negative group, which is the group that did not include the paste, and then we have a positive experimental group, which is the actual experiment as which we actually tested if it had any benefits for the polluted air. So the negative group, we before adding the incenses and paste, the charcoal paste, we went ahead and checked the air quality or the level of CO2. And then we added 5 incenses into number 1, which is the glass container on the bottom, and closed it with the red cup. So basically, we just closed it, and we waited for the polluted air to travel to number 6, which is, as you can see, the plastic container on top. And then we checked the air quality. And then for the positive experimental group, which is the most prominent one in this whole experiment, we went ahead and cut number 4, which was the plastic bottle attached to the birthday hat, and then we spread the red soil slash activated coconut paste inside of it. We went ahead and glued the sauce bottle back together and put it back in place, which is basically connecting it to the birthday hat and to the other sauce bottle, which was on the bottom. So basically, uh, we connected these two sauce bottles together with hot glue after putting the paste on. And then we added, similarly to the negative group, we added 5 instances to the glass container on the bottom, and we waited for this polluted air to travel to number 6. Now we just check the air quality and conclude the results. So moving on to number 6, which is the results. Basically, for the results, for the negative experimental group, the carbon dioxide went from 443 ppm to more than 5,000 ppm, and the HCHO levels went from 0.001 milligram per cubic meter to 1.999 milligram per cubic meter. And for the TVOC levels, it went from 0.003 milligram per cubic meters to 4.983 milligram per cubic meters. And for a positive experimental group, the carbon dioxide levels went from 434 to 450 ppm, and the HCHO levels went from 0.000 to 0.002 milligram per cubic meter. And lastly, the TVOC levels went from 0.000 to 0.005 milligrams per cubic meter. And so basically, I wanted to summarize and abridge what I just said and explain it so that you guys can really understand what happened in the previous experiments. So basically, the negative experimental group underwent the experiment without the red soil slash activated coconut charcoal paste, which I have mentioned before. And as a result, we concluded that the negative experimental group couldn't purify the air. So the air meter initially detected 443 ppm of carbon dioxide, 0.01 milligrams per cubic meter of HCHO, and 0.003 milligrams per cubic meter of TVOC. But after 2 minutes of injecting polluted air, the air meter detected more than 5,000 ppm of carbon dioxide, 1.999 milligrams per cubic meter of HCHO, and 4.983 milligrams per cubic meter of TVCO. The positive experimental group with the red soil slash activated coconut charcoal paste purified the air, Initially, the air meter detected only 434 ppm of carbon dioxide, but after 2 minutes of injecting polluted air, the carbon dioxide level increased to 450 ppm, which had a significantly more beneficial result than the negative experimental group, which had underwent the experiment without the activated coconut charcoal slash red soil paste. So as you can see, this is the pictures that we took while conducting our experiment. So this picture is from the negative experimental group. As you can see, it went from 443 ppm to more than 5,000 ppm of carbon dioxide. And then it went with the positive experimental group, it went from 434 ppm to 450 ppm. And now moving on to our conclusion and reflection of our science project. For the conclusion, we basically concluded that during the experiment, the positive experimental group had much more advantageous results than the negative experimental group. And so we found that this uh, activated coconut carbon slash red soil paste had benefits environmentally and also for the air. And the negative experimental group did not have any benefits because it was experimented under the conditions of having no paste or no purifier. And for our reflection, number one, if we had more time to do experiments, we will make more pastes with different ratios and do experiments to collect more data because we did not have sufficient enough amount of time to make pastes with different ratios. And then next time we can also use more accurate measurements for more accurate results. And so we'll always strive to become responsible LIS students who always put in their best for any project, especially science. And with that, I would like to conclude my presentation on our 2023 science project. Thank you so much for listening.